Dude, imagine this for a second. You're sitting there scrolling through your phone and you come across this idea that Muslims actually believe the Quran predicts Islam will one day spread across the entire world. Like, that's wild, right? You start thinking, wait, is that literal, symbolic, or are we talking about something that's actually meant to happen? Because if you look at how fast Islam spread in history, it kind of makes you go, damn, maybe they really believe this was destined. So let's go back for a second. Picture this. It's the 7th century, the Arabian Peninsula. You've got this guy, Muhammad, born in Mecca, no internet, no TV, no global communication, and somehow this message that started with like a few dozen followers ended up changing the entire planet. Within 100 years, Islam was from Spain to India. That's insane. Like, think about that kind of growth in today's terms. That's faster than TikTok, man. But here's the thing. Muslims don't see that as just some political expansion. They genuinely believe it's something divine. That this wasn't just human ambition, it was prophecy unfolding. The Quran has verses that talk about how the truth will prevail over all falsehoods. There's this sense that eventually Islam's values, its moral structure, its idea of one God will dominate, not necessarily through war or force, but through conviction, belief, and influence. Now, I find that fascinating because, dude, think about every major ideology. Communism tried to go global. Capitalism basically did. Christianity had this same sense of mission, go and spread the word. It's almost like every big worldview believes it's supposed to be universal. Humans have this deep urge to think their truth should be the truth. But with Islam, it's embedded in the scripture itself. Like, this is part of the grand design. And you start to wonder, is it possible that this belief, this internal drive that we're destined to spread, actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because if 1.5 billion people truly believe that their religion will one day be the dominant one, that's a pretty strong motivational engine. It's like, imagine if every Apple employee genuinely believed they were building something that would take over every household on Earth. You'd get that same relentless push. But what's interesting is how Muslims interpret that differently. Some see it as spiritual dominance, meaning truth and peace will win out. Others take it more literally, like political or cultural influence. Historically, you had both interpretations. The early Islamic empires were about territory, sure, but the scholars always said, this isn't about land, it's about hearts. And that's kind of poetic, man. Because if you look around today, Islam's the fastest growing religion in the world, not through conquest, but through conversion, birth rates, and migration. And when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, it raises some crazy questions. Like, how do ideas survive and spread? Is it just numbers, or is it resilience? Because Islam has this deep built-in structure, 5 prayers a day, fasting, charity stuff, that keeps the identity alive even when Muslims are minorities. That's powerful. Most ideologies fade when they get pushed into foreign territory, but Islam tends to adapt and hold strong. Imagine if you dropped a Muslim community in Iceland, right? Within a generation, they'd have a mosque, halal markets, Quran schools. It's like the belief system has its own survival instinct. That's not accidental. That's thousands of years of spiritual and cultural momentum. Now, whether you believe in God or not, you have to admit that's one of the most impressive examples of human cohesion. Like, There's something in that shared belief that outlasts empires, colonialism, politics, everything. Rome fell, the British Empire fell, but Islam's still growing. That's crazy. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The idea that Islam will one day be everywhere doesn't necessarily mean everyone will become Muslim. Some interpretations say it means the message will reach everyone, that people will at least hear and know the truth. It's like saying one day everyone will know what this message is, even if they don't accept it. And man, we're kind of there. You can't scroll online without bumping into discussions about Islam, debates, Quran quotes on TikTok, converts sharing stories on YouTube. Like, it's global now. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe the prophecy isn't about domination, but awareness. Like, the idea that this message will be impossible to ignore. That's already true. But, me, I always think about the psychological side. Imagine being born into a belief system where you're told one day our faith will cover the earth. That gives you confidence, right? It's like being told you're on the winning team, even when things look rough. That belief in destiny, it changes how you act. You're patient, you're motivated, you endure stuff because you think this is all part of the plan. That's a really strong mental framework. And if you think about it historically, that belief probably helped Muslims survive through insane challenges. Colonization, wars, internal divisions, yet the religion never collapsed. Even after losing political power, the belief in ultimate success stayed. It's like spiritual resilience coded into the DNA of the faith. There's also this crazy modern twist, though. Like, what does spreading across the world even mean in a time when borders are digital? When someone in New York can convert online after a single conversation on Reddit, or when AI can translate the Quran into every language instantly, the whole concept of the message reaching the world suddenly feels way more plausible. It's like the prophecy adapted to the internet age, because now the message doesn't need armies or trade routes. It just needs bandwidth. And the more people feel lost or disconnected in this modern hyper-material world, the more they start looking for meaning. And that's where religion steps back in. You can feel it, man. There's this shift happening. People are tired of politics. They're tired of consumer culture. They're asking deeper questions. And Islam, with its structure, its discipline, its simplicity, one God, one purpose, that's appealing in a chaotic time. But whether or not you believe in divine destiny, it's hard to ignore how prophetic it all feels. A religion born in the desert, spreading to every continent, outlasting empires, surviving modernization, and now becoming digital. That's like the script of something bigger, man. So the question becomes, is this prophecy still unfolding? Are we witnessing it in real time? Or is it one of those ideas that's meant to inspire belief rather than predict the future? Because if you look around, the world's more connected than ever, but also more divided. Every ideology wants to dominate capitalism, technology, even atheism in some way. But Islam's unique in that it ties the idea of spreading to faith in God, not human effort. Like, it's going to happen because God said so. That's a different level of conviction. And maybe that's what's kept it alive all these centuries. Not power, not money, not armies, but belief. The kind of belief that doesn't die when you lose, it grows. That's heavy, man. So whether you see it as prophecy, psychology, or sociology, It's one of the most fascinating stories in human history, this idea that an ancient scripture declared its own future, and somehow 1500 years later, the world's still moving in that direction. That makes you wonder, right? Maybe destiny isn't some mystical force. Maybe it's belief itself that shapes reality.